Hey everyone, Works here. So a little bit of a different video for me. I know my channel is pretty much an entirely World of Warcraft focused channel, but just kind of wanted to do something different because I've been really enjoying acapella groups lately. I've been listening to a lot of voice play, a lot of the Wellerman, and the group that I'm going to be doing a reaction to today, the Bass Gang. They have been doing a series of videos they call May the Bass Be With You. It consists of four young bass singers, Tommy P, Bobby Bass, Peter Barber, and Marwan Amen. These guys have been doing some really good stuff. They've already released videos for Mad World, which featured Elliot Robinson, who is an absolute legend in the bass singing community. And they did one with of Centuries by Fallout Boy, with featuring Jonathan Young, who is a huge creator on YouTube with 2 million subscribers, and does a lot of work with like metal covers, and is a natural bass singer and does some ridiculous stuff with his voice in those. So definitely check out both of those videos. Subscribe to the Bass Gang and all four of its individual members as well. So today is the day that they've released their third of four things. This is a cover of Iris. I have not watched this before. This is featuring Melinda, who I know that Bobby Bass has done some work with in the past. Just because I've seen some of the shorts where he's done like Hoist the Colors and some other things with her in like YouTube shorts. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to play through this video entirely. You just get my kind of pure unadulterated reaction, and then I'm going to go back down and kind of listen again to a couple parts that I just find to be really interesting. Now, just a slate of disclaimers. Number one, I am not super musically inclined. I am not a great singer. I was a drummer kid in high school in band. And for me, I was looking at different things such as I was never really like good at picking up music, and I'm not good at identifying notes or anything like that. I just really enjoy a cappella covers of music, and this is me basically taking my first reaction to it all and kind of seeing what this is going to become. So I don't know which one of the four members arranged this. It's either Peter or Bobby, because Tommy P did Mad World. He arranged and did all the mastering and editing for that. Marwan Amen did Centuries. He arranged that. And then, so it's either Peter or Bobby that did Iris and whatever they have next week, which will feature Cole McGuinness, because I saw that in their preview. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get started, and let's just watch this through completely and see where we go from there.
And I'd give up forever to touch you, 'cause I know that you feel me somehow. You're the closest to heaven that I'll ever be, and I don't wanna go home right now.
And all I can taste is this moment, and all I can breathe is your life. And sooner or later it's over.
I just don't wanna miss you tonight.
And I don't want the world to see me, 'cause I don't think that they'd understand when everything's made to be broken. I just want you to know who I am.
Harmonies.
And you can't find the tears that ain't coming, all the moment of truth in your eyes, when everything feels like the movies. Yeah, you bleed just to know you're alive. And I don't want the world to see me, 'cause I don't think that they'd understand when everything's made to be broken. I just want you to know who I am. I can taste this moment,
Hey y'all, Bobby here, and I wanted to say a huge thank you for stopping by to check out the Bass Gang's most recent cover of Iris, featuring the incredible Melinda Catherine Reese. We can't thank her enough for being on this cover. She really helped to make this one special, and as you can tell, she kind of helped bring out the tenor in all of us. I also wanted to give a huge thank you to my sister Nicole for editing this video, as well as Johnny Stewart for mixing the song. And last but not least, we want to say a grand thank you to all of our patrons who have been supporting us through May the Bass Be With You Volume 2. So if you haven't heard, the Bass Gang's official Patreon page.
All right, we're going to pause there. So this is very, very different than what they've done in the last two songs, where like Mad World was like super heavy, thick bass. That was just, it gives you goosebumps, you know, and you just hear it and you're just like, your brain and like your heart melt. Because of the level of bass that you're hearing out of it. And then in the second song with Centuries, it was a very different style. Mad World was like a very, I won't say soft because it's not, but it's a very kind of like, it's a slower song. It's kind of like it's very much fit for an acapella group too. And then you have Centuries from Fall Out Boy, which is, you know, pop rock, that kind of covers it. And then you have Iris, which is almost like a ballad, like a pop ballad in a ways. You heard a little bit of bass in there. I heard some really good low notes from Bobby in particular, but for the most part, this, even though these guys are four bass singers, so keep that in mind, these are bass singers. The fact that they really kind of, yeah, like Bobby said, it brought out the tenor in all of them. Like they got much higher than a lot of them did. And they have the range. Like these guys are all fantastic. I've heard particularly Tommy and Peter have gotten very high. Peter's with opera. You kind of have to know how to go that high sometimes. But with this one, I think it's very, very different. So if you're expecting it kind of coming in, like for me, I was expecting a lot more bass to come into the song, like singing a lot of the notes from like octaves lower than things like that. But they didn't. They hit everything in tenor. Which I thought was really interesting. So let's kind of go back. I'm going to kind of stop at some of my favorite moments of this that were there and go from there. And this is from someone that has enough knowledge of music to know like what sounds good and what doesn't sound good. Obviously, I'm not going to be able to hit on specific like note coverages and stuff like that. You're going to want to watch. I know Peter Barber does reactions to his own videos. Mortius does reactions to all these videos, and he usually has one of the, like for the last two at least, he had Tommy on for Mad World. He had Marwan on for Centuries. I imagine if he can't, he's going to get Bobby on for this one to kind of talk about it as he reacts to it. So definitely, if you want to get more like specific, like the techniques and stuff used behind it, I definitely recommend that. But for me, this is just me reacting to a group of four singers that I really love with, you know, with their collaborator, and I'll kind of talk about some of my favorite parts, just kind of like someone that is a little bit musically inclined, but not a ton of it. So we're going to start right here at the beginning, actually. I love this beginning. We're going to play it again real quick.
And I'd give up forever to touch you, 'cause I know that you feel me somehow. You're the closest to heaven that I'll ever be, and I don't wanna go home right now.
So what I love about this beginning is a number of things. So in the original song, it obviously has its instrumentals at the beginning, and that kind of gravelly voice of the singers. I don't remember the exact name of the original singer now. Whereas Melinda, obviously a much higher singer than you know most males. She's high tenor, can even get into those really high falsettos you heard later in the song. The thing that I like about this is they're just featuring her to kind of show off her ability early, which it's very easy when you're working with a collaborator to kind of feature them a lot and almost too much at sometimes. But here at the beginning, they're establishing her voice so that you always are going to be able to kind of pick it out against the four males that are going to be coming in, and you're kind of showing off like her timbre, her sound early on. So I think this is really cool. I also love this backdrop with the fog, the black, and her wearing the black. From a physical standpoint, it makes her red hair stand out even more, which is very cool to me. So I love this beginning. It's very quiet and kind of makes the rest of the song feel more impactful.
And all I can take.
Okay, first off, Tommy, your hair is fantastic. I love it.
Is this moment and
Okay, so to give you some faces to the names that I've been mentioning since we're right here. On the left here, we have Peter Barber. This is Bobby Bass. This is Marwan Amen. Sorry, Marwan, I got your face here. And this is Tommy P. These guys are actually from all over the world. So Peter is based out of Philadelphia. Bobby based out of Massachusetts. Marwan is in Egypt and is the youngest member. I think he's only like 18 or 19, which is insane. And Tommy is based out of the Czech Republic. So just to kind of give you an idea of the work and the effort these guys are going into, they're collaborating on all of this in like 4 different time zones. So just overall, like, outstanding the fact that they're doing this at all. So we're gonna keep going now.
all I can breathe is your life.
So I love the harmonies on these 4 bass gang members. Come back just a few seconds and listen to it. I can't tell who's singing what part. I think the low notes are either Peter or Bobby. That just sounds like something that they would do. But I know Tommy is kind of in the higher notes, and I know Marwan's probably up there a little bit as well. Oops, back a little more.
All I can breathe is your life.
Yeah, so my gut tells me that Tommy was one of the ones that was up high. Peter was probably a little bit high. Marwan kind of in the middle, and I think Bobby was at the base because he has the lowest voice range, as Peter said before.
Your life.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And sooner or later.
And the other thing that Bass Gang does really, really well is they obviously, it's hard to do this in like a live performance, but since they have the ability to record and do editing and stuff like that, they sing multiple songs. So you can see here, you have 3 different Melindas. Here she is singing kind of the main line, but her kind of faded out aspects are doing 2 other harmonies. And same with Peter here. He's got him in the middle, kind of doing, again, the main line. And then you have Peter over here doing a harmony that you're going to hear through the rest of this little section.
It's over.
I just don't wanna.
Oh, that's really nice. So they make the harmony go, like they have the harmony of all the male singers, and then they come to this line and they cut out all themselves to focus on this. It kind of keeps the beginning interesting and makes your ears kind of constantly stay aware without having to, where you just don't drown it out a lot.
Miss you tonight,
And I don't want the world to see me, 'cause I don't.
Okay, so right there you hear the backline ooze. You hear how they just don't let it drag on. It's not ooh through their whole thing. They ooh 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 right there. Listen.
'Cause I don't think that they'd understand.
Let's go back a little bit more.
'Cause I don't think to see. I don't
Rare.
want the world to see me. 'Cause I don't think that they'd understand.
And then they drag it out here, which is nice.
When everything's made to be broken.
They excel at doing this right here, where they repeat lines in the background but do it in different harmonies that are just really beautiful almost all the time. I absolutely love this. Shout outs to Bobby, who I'm imagining arranged this, for taking advantage of the strengths of his group.
I just want you to know who I am. And you can't find the tears that ain't coming. Oh.
Is Marwan doing vocal percussion here, or is that... I have to find out. Maybe one of them talks about it in the reactions to anything that's got going on. But one thing that they've done really well, they didn't do it so much in Mad World, but in Centuries and in this videos, they've always found a section to just feature themselves, which I think is important. You want to make sure the collaborator is there, but I mean, this is a Bass Gang video. And so the fact that they're doing all the work to make sure that the Bass Gang is also featured along with Melinda Reese, shares the last name as me. I love it. Shout outs to a fellow Reese. But they make sure that they also kind of celebrate themselves, so to speak, in these videos.
The moment of truth in your lies. Whenever
Ooh, did you hear those little doot-doots in the back? Listen to this here. You have to kind of listen to them. It's hard to hear. Like, listen to the song in good headphones like I've got here. But you kind of hear them in the very background. Doot, 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 something like along those lines.
oh, the moment of truth in your lies. When
Right there.
everything feels
Very
like
cool.
the movies. Yeah, you bleed just to know you're alive.
So right there in that section, love the range that we're getting. Bobby, the deepest bass, also hitting very high notes as tenor. I get a feeling Marwin was doing the bass voice in this, the low bass voice, to do the range. And then, of course, you have Melinda at the very, very top of the scale because that's just where she excels. I love this. We're going to listen to it again.
You play just a when everything feels like the movies. Yeah, you play just to know you're alive.
Yeah, so right there at the end, you can kind of tell. Let's go back just a couple seconds. It's what's called low bass voice. Right there, where he's kind of got his head down and tilted down. That's how you can tell someone's singing very low when watching these videos, because they have to kind of get low to kind of like stretch the back of their neck and kind of push their vocal cords in tighter to kind of push out that sound. Whereas the rest you can see are getting very high. Bobby's pushing the upper end of his range. I can probably tell by his face. But Peter is an opera singer, so of course this is probably no big deal for him. And Tommy's got ridiculous falsetto control for a bass singer, so no surprise if he can get up there too.
And I don't want the world to see me, 'cause I don't think that they'd understand when everything's made to be broken. I just want.
So right here, I want to go back and listen to, particularly to Melinda. She's just doing, all sounds with her voice, but she is up there, like up there. Like, let's listen to that.
When everything's made to be broken, I just want you to know who I am.
Really nice. I'm always down for a little drum style breakdown, which is what that is, with harmony installed inside of it. So we're going to take that, listen to that again, because I just love that stuff. Melinda, I adore your voice. I just want you to know that. So I like what they did visually right here. So you can kind of see the, Melinda is kind of being pushed a little bit front and center, even though she's in the background. She's kind of been almost zoomed in on a little bit to kind of show that off. And then they zoom her out and bring the bass members forward so that you can kind of hear their harmony at the very end. I love that. Let's listen to it again and watch it. Linda up there again. Okay, Marwin, get into it, buddy. Look at him. Look at Marwin over here on the right. Watch what he does right here at the end. You hear that that really high am? That's him, and you can tell he's really getting into the idea of trying to hit that note. I love it. The one thing I love about the bass game more than anything is that they're so they're so expressive. That's the word I'm looking for. Expressive when they do their videos. Like, if you go watch Mad World and Centuries, you'll see it too. But like, they just, and even their Emperor's New Dance or Emperor's New Clothes video, it's just the 4 bass gang members. Like, they're just super expressive, which makes them very engaging to watch. And as someone that was in drumline and had to do a lot of facial expressions and movements to keep things engaged, because I mean, ultimately you're just banging on a drum that has one sound. You wanted to do other things to kind of keep things engaging and kind of keep the audience hooked into what you're doing. And these guys do a fantastic job of it. As a performer myself, in a way, as a content creator, as a former drumline member, and kind of a showman at heart for myself, like, I love the fact that these guys are doing this level of facial work and body work while also trying to sing a song that's way out of their normal ranges for the most part. I imagine they obviously know better than me. I don't know these guys on a personal level, but singing a song that's out of the range of what you would expect from hearing a bass singer group. And the fact that they were able to maintain that is just fantastic work. So we'll finish out the end here, and I'll give some final thoughts. Marwin there doing low bass voice, got that low note, I think. So very good. I really enjoyed that. Bobby, kudos on your arrangement. I'm assuming that was you that did it, since you were the end guy here at the end. Got obviously the arranger and his sister, who's video editor, I think either by trade or going to school for it. Was very, very good. Overall, I think it's very different. It caught me off guard with how different this video was compared to Centuries or the Mad World, which are deep bass tracks. But I love this for a lot of different reasons. It kind of shows off their range, and kind of shows off their flexibility to do a lot of different things instead of being pigeonholed into bass singing, which I think is, obviously going to be the thing that carries them for a long time. But the occasional video or song to show off their range, I think, is really, really cool, really, really expected. So shout outs to the Bass Gang. If you haven't already, go subscribe to them on YouTube. They have a YouTube channel. They have Patreon if you're interested in doing more, learning more about them and seeing more the technical stuff. And I'll put the Bass Gang YouTube and all 4 of their individual YouTubes in the description below. Make sure you go follow them, subscribe to them if you're interested in more bass music. For me, like I said, this is a very different video. I'm a World of Warcraft content creator by trade. I gotta say by trade, but like by choice. But I've really been getting into acapella and vocal group singing recently. So I kind of wanted to do something a little bit different for my own palate cleanser purposes. So don't worry, we're going to get back to World of Warcraft content. I've got Death Knight video, Talent Tree video coming out. So be on the lookout for that if you're here for World of Warcraft content and just watching me to watch me. So until the next video, I hope you're all staying safe. Hope you're having fun. You keep gaming, keep listening to great music. Subscribe to these guys, and I'll see you all in the next video.